Note, we have two members that are participating virtually, School Committee Woman Denise Hurst and School Committeeman Attorney Peter Murphy. Vice Chair Chris Collins unable to attend tonight. He's at a family event. And for note, Council has told me, Attorney Phelps has indicated to me, for the ones that are virtual school committee members, if you sign off, you must indicate that you are signed off. With that, we wish everybody a happy and healthy holiday. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa. And we will first start, first speaker is Heather Ackerman, please. Ms. Ackerman?
Yes, I'm here because I wanted to address the parking situation at Brunton Elementary School located on Parker Street. Currently, the parking lot that is available is just barely large enough to fit the parking for the teachers. So when parents are dropping off their children or picking up their children, it causes a very dangerous situation. Parents are parking in fire lanes, they're parking on sidewalks, they're double parking, they're blocking other cars in, they're blocking crosswalks. There's just not enough room for the parents to be able to pick up the children and park safely. And then the overflow ends up going onto Parker Street, which causes cars to cross over the double yellow lines to go around cars waiting to come into the parking lot area. A lot of parents and I actually think that a second horseshoe with a parking lot should be created in the front parking area. There's a front lawn that is extremely large and it's already cleared out for the most part, which could fit a second horseshoe and additional parking. We think that it should be created specifically for the parents to where traffic, if it's created one way in and one way out as the current horseshoe is, the parents would be able to pull in and not be blocked by the buses with their stop signs. They would be able to park and not block the teachers in. They'd be able to safely pick up their children and not interfere with traffic doing that. They did a test run to try to see if they could reroute the buses through the current parking lot and then maybe have the teachers park out front. That's not going to alleviate the situation for the parents though, because the overflow, it takes away 15 parking spots roughly in the current parking spot, current parking lot to allow and reroute the buses, which causes the teachers to be overflowed onto the front lawn anyway. So if they create additional parking and put the teachers there, there's still not enough parking in the small lot with the buses for parents to park, which would still have the same situation. So if we just created something separate for the parents, it would alleviate a lot of problems right now.
Thank you, Ms. Ackerman.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ackerman.
Mr. Mayor, if I may ask a question. What school is it?
It's clarification, Brunton School. Thank you, Ms. Gresham. Okay, we'll go to second speaker, and if I pronounce your name wrong, please correct me. Satay Winspear?
It's Faith Winspear.
Thank you very much. I want to be corrected on that. Ms. Winspear?
I would like to talk about the IEP system. I feel like parents don't understand how the IEP system can help children that have disabilities. I know this to be true because I had an IEP, and honestly, education is what helped me get through struggles that I battled with my whole entire life. So I feel as though, because there's parents that have language barriers, English isn't their first language, so it becomes confusing, and the IEP is set up in a different language. It's worded in a way, if you didn't study for it or get education on it, it becomes difficult to understand how to help your own child. And I know this because my child has an IEP, which is what motivated me to continue in social work. And I just want it to be more broad for parents to understand what they're walking in. It doesn't make you slow, it just makes you different and highly unique. And I feel as though all these children with IEPs have a gift, and we have to utilize that gift so that they have hope. Because if they don't have hope, they can't see their future.
Thank you, Ms. Winspear.
Thank you.
Thank you, dear. Vicky Bouknight, please. And again, if I pronounce your name wrong, please correct me. Say again, Vicky Bouknight. Okay, maybe she can't get on right now. We'll move along to Nicole Coakley. Nicole?
Hi, good evening. Thanks for having me.
How are you, Nicole?
The reason can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Nicole. Good to
Thank
see you.
you. Hi. So the reason I'm here tonight is to request as a future agenda item that the process for schools, including charter schools and student athletes that want to play at a college level, I mean D1, D2 level, be presented by the AD. So students and families and schools have a clear understanding of the requirements by the MIAA and the NCAA. MIAA is the clearance, that's the Massachusetts Interscholastic Athletic Association. That's the process where the kids get clearance to play during high school. The NCAA is a National Collegiate Athletic Association, which regulates student athletes, granting them clearance to play at a D1 or a D2 level. I'm requesting this because my son had to go through this, and we didn't learn until he got into college that the charter school he went to in 9th grade was not cleared by NCAA. So my child was not able to play football starting August of this year because the school failed, because my child went through all his years of elementary, middle school, and high school. He did his part, but I had to continue staying on Bay State Academy. And my problem with this whole process is the fact that I reached out to school committee members. I reached out to different people trying to get help to figure out what needed to be done, and nobody knew the process. So if I, a concerned parent, a community member, don't understand the process, I can only imagine what students and families that don't have a support system are going through. So I am here to make sure that this is brought up and attention is brought and everyone is aware of it, so it does not happen to any more of our children that want to play at a D1 or a D2 level. And my concern is we are putting people in positions that don't even know the process, and I'm concerned about that. And we have to figure out how we can connect these dots. And I understand that charter school and the Springfield school system are on two different levels, but it doesn't matter because they all play sports against each other. So we have to figure out and make sure that these schools are doing their part, because I don't want another kid to get to college and find out that you can't even play football, you can't even play basketball because the school you went to didn't do their part. It's not the kids' fault, it's the students, the people we put in positions. So I want to make sure that this is brought up and it is really paid attention to. And when we think about it, we are failing our student athletes that want to go on, that have plans for their future, and they are being stagnant and they are being held back because people are not being held accountable for their actions and making sure that things are being done properly.
Nicole, thank you for your heartfelt testimony. Just to clarify again, this was a charter school which involves DESE. We do have succinct policies through Athletic Director Dwayne Early. We do not run into that situation, but I'm glad you brought it attention, and it should be brought to the attention of DESE. Again, we have no control.
I brought it to DESE. They did. Yeah, I brought it to DESE. There was nothing they can do because my son had already graduated from high school.
Yeah, no,
I
just wanted to clarify
not happen to another kid.
that the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, and also this is a charter, not a Springfield Public School. We have no jurisdiction. But I'm glad you brought it up, Nicole, and it's good to see you again. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Kimberly Campbell, please.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. This is Kimberly Campbell. I'm just here to speak and advocate on behalf of the students and young scholars that don't necessarily have parents to advocate for them. And I am definitely a parent myself and very much have the mindset of it definitely takes a village. And I'm committed to doing my part as a parent and also trying to figure out what else we can all do as we all work together for the betterment of all the children. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Campbell, very much. I'll go back to Vicky Boyknight. Say again, Vicky Boyknight. Okay, at this point.
Good evening. Good evening.
Thank you. Go ahead, Ms. Boyknight.
I wanted to address an issue that happened at the Impact School, the Chestnut Impact School. I have a problem with the policy, the dress policy. The children are made to wear uniforms and to stay away from certain dress, but the teachers are able to wear anything they want. And I think that's very inappropriate because it sends a message that is not concurrent with what the school department is trying to convey to the children. I saw things that were inappropriate. I saw one of the teachers, I know I can't call names, I couldn't if I wanted to, but they were promoting their sexuality. There was no seemingly dress code. They had all kinds of things on them. And we're saying that the children are not supposed to dress like that. And I think that the teacher should be held accountable to the same standard.
Thank you very much, and thank you for bringing that to our attention, Superintendent's attention. That concludes the public speak out, and to all the participants, thank you very much. And again, happy and healthy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and Happy Kwanzaa. Thank you so much, and we will be back shortly for our regularly scheduled meeting. Thank you.
Mayor, may I indicate that I'm going to get off until we resume at 6:30?
Yes, Denise, yes, Ms.
Okay.
Hurst, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay, and I'll return at 6:30.
Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. We'll call the meeting to order. Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Ms. Monroe Naylor? Present. Attorney Murphy?
Just for the record, Attorney Peter Murphy will be participating virtually. Peter, I hope you're feeling better. And again,
Thanks, Mayor.
Counsel.
I just have the flu, and I didn't want to
No,
give it
no,
to...
I hope you're feeling better. And Counsel, Attorney Phelps indicates if participation virtually, if anybody is signing off, school committee members signing off, you must indicate that. I'm sorry, Madam Clerk, go ahead.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Here.
Ms. Gresham?
Here.
Ms. Hurst?
Again, Ms. Hurst is also participating virtually.
Mr. Collins?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Collins is unable to attend. He has a family event that is going on.
Mayor Sarno?
Yes, present. If we could all please rise for a moment of silence and a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much, everyone. And to everyone here and to our viewing audience, we all wish you happy holidays and Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and Happy Kwanzaa, and a joyous New Year. And we'll also be cheering for our Central football team at Gillette this Saturday to bring home another Division I state championship. Very proud of them. They will be going first class again. I want to thank our business community. I want to thank Peter Picknelly, Peter Pan Bus Lines, again, stepping up to make sure that our Central young men and the staff will be going first class to Gillette. So thank you, Peter Pan Bus Lines and Mr. Picknelly on that. With that, we'll move to approval of the minutes. Approve the minutes for November 14, 2022, working session, and November 17, 2022, regular session. If there's any questions or comments? Hearing none, is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Gonzalez. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Second by Ms. Gresham. Roll call vote is required. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ms. Monroe Naylor?
Yes.
Attorney Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Ms. Gresham?
Yes.
Ms. Hurst?
Yes.
Mr. Collins? Absent. Mayor Sarno?
Yes, more than sufficient vote. This matter passes. Thank you. We'll move to Section 3, voting items. A is to approve the dual language program. And again, just to reiterate, a lot of the nuts and bolts is done by the chairs of the subcommittee, and many times is hours spent on that. So when you see us vote something through, there's been a lot of hard work done behind the on subcommittees. Superintendent Warwick, please.
Yes, we're going to be proposing that we move forward with a dual language program at Harena School next year. This is a proposal we've been working at for some time now, and we have a team that's going to present it to you. Has already gone through the subcommittee, Denise's curriculum and program subcommittee. But we have Stefania Rochilla, Rosa Rodriguez-Pion, Cindy Escorbano, and Laura Menz here to present the program proposal to you tonight. And there's a packet in your folder.
Ms. Hurst, I don't know if you want to say anything introductory at all before they present.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, we had a subcommittee. It was rather informative. It was also really great to hear that we were adopting this program and preparing our students, although it's currently only being piloted at Harena, but that there is a potential long-term plan to scale it throughout the district, and this will help to prepare our students to have the benefit of potentially being bilingual and prepare them to be global citizens. I thought the team did a great job. Mr. Collins talked about how there was a similar program when he was working in the district, and it did receive unanimous favor in the subcommittee.
Thank you, Ms. Hurst. I'll turn it back to Superintendent Warwick and his team, the administration.
So I'd like the team to present now.
Thank you, Superintendent Warwick and Mayor Sarno and
Stefania.
committee member Denise Hurst. So we did bring this to subcommittee and it was rather informative. And there's been a lot of work done on the dual language proposal. And even though we're in November of 2022, actually December now, We had started this work back in 2019, pre-pandemic, and we had thought it was going to be a great opportunity for the students and families of the Springfield Public Schools. And so we had started researching this and looking for grants from the Department of Elementary and Secondary Ed. And then we came up against the pandemic, which really slowed the process down, but also gave us time to really research it and put in place the kind of courses that were needed and the kind of research that was needed to really lift this program the way that it needed to be lifted. And so I'm going to pass it off to Rosa Rodriguez-Pion, who is part of our multilingual learner department and has been working very closely with this.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I just wanted to briefly go over some of the program specifics, just to give you an idea of what this is going to look like and the details. So dual language education is when students get to spend part of their day being instructed in 2 languages. And so the language that we're choosing is Spanish and English. So students will spend 50% of their day receiving content in both English and Spanish academically. And so there's 3 main pillars of dual language. Grade level academic achievement. So we want students to still be achieving at grade level in both languages and experiencing instruction at grade level in both languages. Bilingualism and biliteracy. So students will be fully biliterate in both languages. And then sociocultural competence, what Denise said, being global citizens and being able to not only know about their own culture, but being culturally aware of others.
And so in thinking of the benefits for a dual language program, students will be gaining a second language, either English or Spanish. And this will also put students on track to be able to obtain a seal of biliteracy once they attend secondary. And as Rosa previously mentioned, we've been working on the academic structure, and students will be instructed in English and in Spanish for part of the day. So students will receive English language arts and Spanish language arts daily with integrated content during the school day.
So the SPS implementation, we're going to open at Harena School next year, starting with 2 pre-K classrooms and 2 kindergarten classrooms, and then we'll open a grade level consecutively each year. So year 2 we'll have pre-K, K, and first grade added, and so on. It's going to be a 2-way immersion program, and we're following what's called a 1/3 model. So 1/3 of the students will be dominant English speakers, 1/3 of the students will be dominant Spanish speakers, and then 1/3 of the students would be bilingual. So our students that are either higher level English learners or they're just bilingual by nature of their background. I had mentioned before the 50-50 model, which would be English and Spanish are the languages that we're targeting, and we're going to do a 2-teacher model. So we'll have 1 teacher that will be teaching in Spanish all day, 1 teacher that will be teaching in English all day, and the students will swap classrooms, somewhat departmentalized, midday. So this is just a 3-year projection of what we did the first 3 years in planning. The district appointed a dual language coordinator, that was me. We established partnerships with MABE, UMass Amherst, and we also joined the Western Mass Bilingual Hub. We began recruiting teachers. So we have 9 teachers that have completed the endorsement course, and we have excuse me, a group of teachers. There are 5 that are going through the courses now, along with the certificate course. We continue to recruit teachers. We continue to host PD. We've hosted a summer institute with University of Massachusetts and the other districts that we work with, Holyoke and Amherst, to provide some quality PD for our teachers. We've also began to create a partnership with Boston College and offer some teacher preparation programs and courses through them. And then we've just continued along the work of establishing a dual language leadership team at Harena, and we meet weekly. That team consists of their administrators, coaches, and district leaders. Cindy, you're on mute.
That always happens to me. Sorry. As Rosa mentioned, we have been working really hard in planning for the dual language program. As you can see, we have attended school visits, we've attended conferences, and we also have participated in the programming such as Boston College. And we do have a group of educators who are also attending the UMass program so that we can deepen our knowledge of what dual language is so that we can support all of our students who will be a part of the program.
So with taking on this new program, we found a need to find a new curriculum because part of the expectation of dual language is that students are fully biliterate. And with that, we need quality instruction in both English and Spanish. And the curriculums that we had just didn't have the structure that we needed in order for this to become a successful program. And it wasn't completely, they didn't have the option of Spanish for all of our programs either. So we created a team. We used the curate process that the district has used for the last 2 curriculum searches. And we also added some components from the Center for Applied Linguistics to specifically look at curriculums for dual language. So we needed to add some more items to the rubric. Each team spent about 10 hours thoroughly looking at 3 different curriculums, and then we made our final recommendations. The team consisted of teachers at Harena, both that would be in dual language and teachers that are not going to be in dual language, administrators, coaches, and we also consulted with the ELA department. This is just a sample of the rubric. Again, the curate rubric that the district has used for the 3 to 5 curriculum search and the pre-K curriculum search. And then on the left are the indicators that we had to add that were dual language specific.
So the recommendation was the American Reading Company. This company really stood out with their foundational understanding of a dual language program and also the supports to support educators as we would launch a program. And it is the most comprehensive program that we have found to support dual language programming.
The one big difference is the way we teach some of our foundational skills. It's different. And so we needed to make sure that we covered it. It shows here in both their English and Spanish sections that it's similar structure, but it's definitely focusing on how students would learn Spanish versus how students would learn English and how they would learn to read and those foundational skills. And it was the most comprehensive program that was able to help us do this work because this is also new to us and we want to make sure that we have the right resources in place to support teachers and students. And the good thing was that it's very similar to our blocks and we're going to be doing an ELA and SLA block. So we are able to take the components that we're already doing and just mapping out which units will be done in English, which units will be done in Spanish so that students are still getting the same quality instruction. It just might look a little differently than what we're used to. That's it.
Thank you very much. And ladies, any questions or comments from school committee members?
I have questions, Mr.
School committee, Men Gonzalez, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First and foremost, thank you to everyone for the preparation on the presentation. And Ms. Hurst, I know you leading up on the subcommittee on this. I do have a question. Going to the planning years 1 through 4, where it lists all the activities for each year that this working group conducted, where along the line was there family engagement with our families and parents in the school?
So we started an LPAC a couple of years ago, which is our English Learner Parent Advisory Council. Mm-hmm. And so it was brought up through some of those meetings. And then with COVID, everything kind of stopped. And so we continued on with the planning. We have Cindy and I have been working on getting some sessions out with parents, especially the Harena parents that are already there so they understand the lottery process. But we also didn't want to get too far ahead until we knew that we were able to move forward. And then figuring out, we're working with SAS and we're working with FACE on getting the message out to parents and how we can start to support parents understanding how to go through the lottery process and what that's going to look like, the commitment to the program, because it is a long-term commitment. We don't want parents to leave us after 2 years. We want to make sure that they understand that. So we've had conversations about some of these meetings. We just haven't had a chance to execute them yet.
Yeah, and that parent advisory group, if I can continue.
Oh, yeah,
Mr.
no,
Mayor.
go ahead, yeah.
When was the last time that that group was convened in regards to this? I know you said you guys had some pause, and I know we're getting ready to move this thing along. I just want to, when was the last time that that group was convened?
Pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID, okay. Are there, I know you said there's plans to convene this group again. Is that after the approval's made, or if the approval's made to implement that we're looking to?
It is. We have a meeting that we're scheduling for January. And so our hopes was that we could start to bring some of this information to parents to the LPAC meeting once we knew that we had the green light.
Mhm. And another question, I don't know if this is particularly for you. I know we have several schools in the district. I'm just, out of my curiosity, why was Harena picked in particularly for this program?
I can start to share, and then if anyone else wants to add.
Yeah, I think, we took a look at the leadership at Arena that supported the model, and the leadership is strong there. And we already have a magnet situation at Arena, so it made sense to start at Arena. And there's a good size program at Arena, a lot of classes in each cohort, so there'd be other options for families who didn't want to be in dual language. Where if you chose a smaller elementary school, everyone in that geographic area would have to go into a dual language program whether they wanted it or not. So Arena made a lot of sense for a lot of reasons.
Absolutely. Thank you, Superintendent. And thank you for answering my questions. I will say that I'm a little bit worrisome that that group wasn't convened prior to this presentation to the committee, the parents and the families, because I think this is something of significance for that school community. And I'll leave it there. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, School Committeeman Gonzalez. And just to his point there, let's say, hopefully everything goes copacetic and well. Say if there was any adjustments that have to be made, those can be done, Mr. Superintendent. Yeah, okay, because it's just the point of Mr. Gonzalez. And then Cindy Escorbano, who's on, Principal Escorbano, she does a great job down there with her team in Arena. So any other questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, is there a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Naylor. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Second by Ms. Hurst. Roll call vote is required. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ms. Manuel-Naylor?
Yes.
Attorney Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Ms. Gresham?
Yes.
Ms. Hurst?
Yes.
Mr. Collins, absent. Mayor Sarno?
Yes, more than sufficient vote, this matter passes. Thank you very much. B is to approve the service animal policy. This is the second vote. Superintendent Warwick, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, this has been through the subcommittee, and again, most of our work is done in the subcommittees. It's also been through our full committee for a full vote, but we need a second vote because it's a change in a policy, so that requires a second vote. I know Attorney Phelps is here if anyone has any questions, but it passed unanimously when we went through it last meeting.
Subcommittee Chair, any comments on that before we go any further?
No questions, Mr. Mayor.
Ms. Gresham, go ahead.
No,
thank you.
I do. Actually, I do. Because I was listening to something on a documented read this week, and the animals are trained by a licensed trained person, correct?
Attorney Phelps, if you could come up to the podium, please. Thank you.
To answer your question, Mrs. Gresham, because the service animal has to, in order to fall under the policy and under the ADA as well as Massachusetts law, has to be trained to respond to a specific disability. These animals are highly trained, which requires instructors or trainers who are also highly trained. I don't know if there's a certificate for the trainers or not, but certainly with regards to guide dogs for people who have limited sight or no sight, those animals are very expensive and are trained for years before given to a particular person. So they are trained by people who are specialized in knowing about disabilities.
So would we be able to request that certificate?
It's not part of the policy, but certainly they have to indicate that there is that the animal it has been trained to meet the specific disability of the student or staff member. So yes, that would be part of the showing that in fact the animal is needed for that purpose.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gresham. Thank you, Attorney Phelps. Any other questions or comments? And again, as Superintendent Warwick indicated, a lot of the nuts and bolts and hard work for hours has been done in subcommittee. I know we had some discussion in the past meeting also, televised meeting. If there's no other questions or comments, is there a motion on the floor?
Mr. Mayor, I would just like to
Ms.
make a quick
Daly,
comment.
yes.
I did bring this up the last time that we did vote on this, and I just wanted to state again, just for anybody who's listening, that we did also consider any students who might be allergic to animals, and that is definitely factored into the policy, that we will make sure that those students are also safe in that environment.
Thank you again, Ms. Naylor, for making that point. It was a good point. Any other questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, there's a motion on the floor.
So move.
Motion by Ms. Hurst, is second.
Second.
So second by, it's a tie, Ms. Naylor, Ms. Gresham. Your pick, Patty. Roll call vote is required. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ms. Monroe Naylor,
Yes.
Attorney Murphy,
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez,
Yes.
Ms. Gresham,
Yes.
Ms. Hurst,
Yes.
Mr. Collins, absent Mayor Sarno.
Yes, board official vote, this matter passes. Thank you. Move to Section 4, Information Discussion Items, Sodexo Annual Update. Superintendent Warwick, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, Sodexo is here today with us to do their update on our school lunch program, and they do an annual update every year, and they're going to go through the program with you. Roger Uyghur is here with some of his team members, and they're going to present to you now. And there's a piece, an informational piece in your packet on that.
Thanks, Superintendent Warwick.
May I interrupt for 1 second, Mr.
Sure,
Mayor,
Ms.
to
Hurst.
notify the body that I will be departing the call?
Okay, thank you, Ms. Hurst.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Have a good evening.
Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Roger.
Can I go ahead and share my screen?
Yes, thank you, Ron. Please.
Can everyone see the presentation?
Yes.
Great.
Thank you.
Mayor Sarno, Superintendent Warwick, Vice Chair, Mr. Collins, and members of the school committee. I'd like to provide you with a culinary and nutrition program update for school year 21-22. Regarding the program, the Springfield students are at the heart of what we do. And I have to say that I'm honored and privileged to be here this evening speaking with you to share some of the great things that are happening here in Springfield for students at the Culinary and Nutrition Center. We have an agenda this evening that we'll be working through, and you can kind of follow along as we move through the presentation. I would ask that if there are any questions, if we could hold them to the end of the presentation and we can take them in whatever order works best. First and foremost, a huge thank you to the Springfield team members of Homegrown that for their dedication and determination in serving our students and the community during the pandemic. Without our dedicated team members, a lot of what has happened within the last few years wouldn't be possible. And these folks, you know, their students, their sons and daughters are students in Springfield Public Schools and very much a part of the Springfield community. First and foremost, our mission has remained that we're here to eliminate student hunger and increase the quality and sustainability of the food that we provide, and also nutritional programs within our community. And we do that through three goals. First and foremost improve the quality of the food being served. And second, increase student participation within our schools. And third, to increase learning opportunities about food and food nutrition programs. FY 21-22 was an exciting year for us as we had the opportunity to launch 20 new additions to our menu. These included several items that are pictured here, as well as breakfast sandwiches that we produce right here in our CNC. And our culinary team continually works to incorporate student feedback and reflect the student preferences in the menu items that we prepare and serve in the schools. And our menus are tested at multiple points throughout the year with student engagement activities to gauge their feedback and make any additions or corrections to the menu. Part of that is ensuring that when we have a new menu item, our staff is fully trained and prepared to execute it properly. They received hands-on training on all new menu items that are being provided to in all schools. And as throughout the year, we look at opportunities for the team to adjust training to specific areas that we identify that need improvement. One of the exciting things that happened this past year was in March, we acquired a new piece of equipment that allowed us to produce pockets as shown here in the picture. These pockets contain fruit fillings as well as savory fillings for both breakfast and lunch. And we can produce over 7,000 in a single day. And the culinary team has developed these recipes, and we have more and they're being served in the schools now. And we have some new flavors of pockets for both breakfast and lunch to launch during school year 22-23. An exciting addition too for us this past year is we revitalized and revamped our catering program. This is an important opportunity for school principals and teachers to take advantage of providing catered events or for meetings or for gatherings at schools, and to sample some of the wonderful food that is prepared fresh here at the Culinary Nutrition Center, as well as all proceeds from the catering program are directly go back into the Springfield Public Schools Culinary and Nutrition Program. So this is an exciting area for us, and we have a wonderful catering brochure, and it can be checked out online on the SPS website. Two exciting competitions that we have during the year are the student recipe competitions, and we have two categories. Future Chefs is for elementary school students, and the Stir It Up Springfield competition is for middle and high school students. And finalists are selected based on preparation of their item, and those meals are actually going to be featured from Chef Kristen, who developed a banana pancake recipe, as well as Ashley, who has a mac and cheese with barbecue ribs. And we look forward to launching and featuring those menus with the credits back to those chefs that inspired these recipes in January of 2023. Student scholarships. In terms of student scholarships this past year, Sodexo donated over $10,000 to student scholarships for high school seniors. These individuals were recognized as individuals and leaders within their schools that were providing critical and essential feedback for the ideas of the future of our school meals. And we look to continuing this program for 2022-2023 because the feedback that we receive from these student ambassadors helps guide our program to be more responsive to the needs of our students. And student engagement is a huge part of what we're doing and one of the focal points for this year. We created for the first time a student feedback booth where we were at the America's pancake breakfast, largest pancake breakfast in Springfield. And we set up a booth and videoed students that wanted to share with us their ideas for school menus. Also during the summer, we partnered with different organizations and expanded the number of meal sites throughout the city to provide food through to students throughout the city, as well as bringing in food trucks, barbecues, and garden enrichment programs. And we worked very closely with Springfield Public Libraries this past year, which was the first time we have done that, and had great success in terms of providing an additional opportunity for students to receive meals during the summer, as well as cooking classes with the Boys and Girls Club and South End Community Center. And of course, our key area with our students is social media. And in terms of social media, this past year, we reached over 221,000 individuals with the social media platform that we've developed, sharing videos and posts and, surveys and collaborating with students. So we've taken, we believe, student engagement to a new level. This program is one that I'm very proud of. This is a Sodexo program that we at Homegrown Springfield have launched, and it is funded through donations from our employees, as well as the companies that you see represented on the screen there that have made donations to the program. And what it does is it allows students that participate in the program to pick up their backpacks filled with shelf-stable items to take home with them over the weekend. And you can kind of see one of the black backpacks along with the shelf-stable items that are packed into that. And I'm very proud to say that we are now over 525 backpacks being serviced out each Friday in the schools. And that number continues to grow because the need is still there. And our commitment to buying local, we continue to push the needle in terms of looking for local manufacturers here in New England, Massachusetts, that can help improve and provide us with products, higher quality products, that will increase our meal participation, as well as reinvesting back into the local economy. Our goal for last year was 22%. We beat that goal at 25.2%. And all of these products are grown in either Massachusetts or our neighboring states in New England. Another key area for us and a constant focus is what do we do with the food waste? And instead of putting it into landfills, we found alternative solutions that allow us to work with waste management by making mindful choices about the food packaging. And we have, since the beginning of 2020, we partnered with Vanguard Renewables, and they have been sourcing our waste products at their facility. And since 2020, we have taken 216,000 pounds of food waste out of landfills. And that food waste is then sent to anaerobic digester at Barstow's Farm in Hadley and produces enough energy from the waste to produce electricity for 1,600 homes. And any byproduct that is left over from that digester is then used as fertilizer for local farms. And we're very, very proud of that initiative as well. You can see our meal counts for 21-22, 7.4 million meals, obviously down from the year before with full-blown COVID, where our numbers were 9.4 million. We're coming back to pre-COVID numbers in 21-22. And you can kind of see how the breakout of meals served in schools transitioned over the year period. Some of our challenges, and I guess some of these challenges are the same for many of you sitting there in the room. Food costs, purchasing products, the cost of healthy, fresh food options, and the inflation that has resulted in, and we're talking double-digit inflation of up to 15%, is affecting us as well as every home in Massachusetts and across the country. And we continue to try to find solutions to beating the inflation that's really rampant right now in the food supply chain. Another area that is a challenge for us is working to ensure that our students receive enough time to consume their breakfast and lunches. Because if they don't have enough time, that really does impact meal participation, and students don't come into the cafeteria or take a meal. And we continue to work with our engagement team to ensure that we have visited all of the schools to ensure that they are providing sufficient time for students to consume their meals, as well as for students that are arriving late to school, that they receive a meal as well. And the last is, we've all heard supply chain issues, and we're not immune from the challenges that face us in terms of purchasing supplies. And as you can imagine, at the Culinary Nutrition Center, when we're preparing 20 or 21,000 meals and not having enough product to actually complete a run for 20,000 meals, it does sometimes cause menu consistency to be impacted. In other words, what we had planned to serve that day, we had to go partial with another product just to make sure that we met the goal. But again, supply chain issues are real, and they continue to be real for our purposes. One area that we're very pleased to report out on is we've begun a rebranding program of the cafeterias. We selected four schools, four schools, Brightwood, Lincoln, Van Sickle, and Central. And these schools received a basic facelift in their cafeteria and serving areas. And the new decor really makes a huge impact in terms of an upgrade to the cafeterias. They're now contemporary, they're bright, bold colors, and they welcome our students into those areas for a relaxing and comfortable environment and an opportunity to socialize and just enjoy a meal in nice surroundings. The team I had talked about earlier, the student engagement team, is an active part of listening and transparency with communications with our students, with our teachers, and with our principals. We strive to address all of the concerns in an open and transparent manner. We are listening, and this team is out there in the field every day at different schools, talking with students, and to ensure that if there are any issues or concerns, we're addressing them right then and there with the team that's there. And these folks are trained to be fully capable of not only listening and doing marketing feedback and research, they're also been trained to actually assist our kitchen staff as needed and ensure that our policies, procedures, and processes and menus and serving are maintained. And again, we continue to evaluate the program for how the nutrition experience is being evaluated with our eye on growing and improving food quality. And again, it's all about increasing student participation. So there are two areas here that as I start to wind the presentation down, that I really do want to say we could use support in addition to what SPS has done from school committee members regarding two particular issues in terms of engaging on. And one of them is non-congregate meal service. And the current policies require congregate meals and students to be together to share a meal. And we are looking for it to become non-congregate to allow program flexibility to serve more meals to at-risk students. There was a recent White House conference on hunger, health, and nutrition, and SPS boldly supported the initiative to allow non-congregate meals for summer food service program and at-risk child and adult care food program, including the ability to send home meals on the weekend. And this is a huge area for us because we know there's a need to feed our students. We want to make it as easy as possible and with as few restrictions as possible. And the other area that we would like for your assistance is to be aware that reimbursements for our breakfast program are very low in terms of the quality of the ingredients and the menus that we serve. We really do produce everything from scratch here at the Culinary Nutrition Center. And again, Springfield Public Schools voted that there needed to be an increase in the reimbursement rates for child and nutrition programs. That includes the school lunch program, the school breakfast program, as I mentioned, CACFP, fresh fruit and vegetable program, and summer food service program. These are key programs that allow us to do our very best to feed students. And I solicit your support, and I encourage you to petition local, state, and federal leaders on these two issues, because they still remain issues to us that we still need to work through. And it really is preventing us from serving more meals to at-risk students. The future is bright for 22-23. We're going to continue to grow the Student Ambassador Program and CNC Family Nights. We've opened the doors now to the CNC to have actual cooking classes here on a monthly basis for different groups to come in and tour the CNC facility, see the equipment, get a feel for what actually happens in this building here, because it's absolutely amazing. And I think that these have been very successful. We've done several sessions with the para assistants in the schools that work closely with students, and it is amazing. It's eye-opening for them to see the equipment and the food that we produce here, fresh, all from scratch, no preservatives, being served at a very high quality to our students in Springfield. And we're very proud of that, and we really want to continue to open our doors to the community. And sort of along those lines, another program that I'm really very excited about that'll be coming online in a test mode in the spring of 2023, and that's be here very soon, is Breakfast in the Classroom room service. And what this is a program that allows a student to have a menu to choose from what they want to have for breakfast, either the next day or the next 2-3 days. And then those meals are prepared and sent to the classroom, and each student gets what they ordered. And it's not one size fits all or two sizes fit all. They get the menu choice that they want. And and it helps us in terms of providing the best quality and increases the variety of what we can serve to students in the classroom for breakfast. And that's a key component to starting the day off on the right foot. And our student internship program, we are going to be working with high schools for job opportunities here on internships within finance and marketing and food management, as well as, as I mentioned, marketing. These opportunities, there's a lot that can be gleaned in terms of job experience, and we feel that the student internship program would be a valuable addition to the programs and services that we currently offer as part of our mission statement to increase food learning opportunities. And then again, some of the new menu items that we have, additional new breakfast and lunch pockets, a new fleet of meatballs that include an Italian, Thai chicken, buffalo chicken meatball. And we just started now producing, right before Thanksgiving, we are now producing our own dinner rolls and not purchasing dinner rolls outside of the CNC. So high quality, again, no preservatives, fresh dinner rolls that are, again, the very highest quality. So as I mentioned that we were opening our doors, I leave you this evening with an invitation. And I've looked to the calendar, and I'll be sure to provide sufficient time, but I would love to extend an invitation to the school committee to come and visit the CNC on March 6th at 4 p.m. and let us show you what we do in terms of providing high quality, nutritious meals to the students of Springfield. We're extremely proud of this facility. There's nothing like it anywhere else in the country. Springfield is a first with this type of commissary production facility. And it is through Springfield's vision and foresight that we're blessed to have this facility to produce these meals. And I would love for the opportunity, and we'll be following up with additional communications and an invite to have you come here and actually see for yourselves, because seeing is believing, some of the great things that are actually occurring here for the students here in the city. And essentially, folks, that concludes our briefing. My contact phone number and our social media information is provided on this website. And I want to thank you this evening for the opportunity to be here with you and share this story, because it is a great story to share. And I hope that everyone has the opportunity to kind of take away some of these great things that are happening within school nutrition. And again, we're very, very proud of what we do, and we want everyone to know. And that concludes my presentation. And if there are any questions, I would like to take them now.
Roger, thank you very much for that comprehensive presentation. And again, another Springfield first. We worked hand in hand on the city side with Superintendent Work on the school side to put this culinary nutrition center together. And I've been up there. It's very impressive, and hopefully we can all make it out there on March 6th. But I'll open up to school committee members for any questions or comments they might have.
I do, Mr. Mayor.
Ms. Gresham, please.
Thank you for the presentation. I have a couple of questions. So you follow USDA guidelines, right?
That's correct.
Yes. And they only reimburse for breakfast?
No, we do receive reimbursements for lunch as well as dinner meals, but it's the breakfast reimbursement that is, probably the lowest of all. I believe we are reimbursed approximately $2.50 per breakfast meal. But the quality and the ingredients that we're putting into that breakfast meal to cover the production and the labor costs, it's somewhat limiting. But it's not only for breakfast. We would love to see the reimbursement rates remain or increase for lunch and for dinner, because it only helps us to give us more latitude to purchase more local products, reinvest in our local area in terms of products that we can acquire here within New England and Massachusetts. So I mentioned breakfast in particular, but we are reimbursed for other meals as well.
Okay. So you count the number of people, staff and students that have a meal per day?
Oh, yes, we do. We have to report the number of students that we serve each day to Department of Education, Elementary and Secondary Education, otherwise known as DESE. And those numbers, we can be audited on those numbers. So our numbers in terms of meals served have to be maintained, and we're accountable for that, and they have to be accurate.
All right, thank you. I have another one. So, so the menu is online, correct?
Yes, the menu is online.
Are they posted monthly, bi-weekly? How does?
They're posted monthly. The monthly menus are posted. We did stop with paper menus going home in the elementary schools, but this is something that we're looking at again, and we may, in addition to having it online through the SPF site, is to actually print menus for the elementary schools, so the children can kind of take them home and put them up on the refrigerator, and their mom and dad or adult guardian can know what's being served in the school that day.
Yeah.
I think it'll be also really exciting when we have test launch in the spring, the breakfast in the classroom room service, basically allowing students to pick the breakfast that they want on a given day and be served that particular breakfast. That is going to be very, very exciting. I think it's not a first in the country, but we're among the leaders in the country on that one, to make this available to our students, instead of saying, you can have cereal or you can have a muffin. Well, you can have an egg sandwich if you want, or you could have a breakfast pocket if you want. So I'm excited about that, because I love to have choice, and I know our students like to have choices, and I think it's going to be a great initiative down the road.
Right. I think the a paper menu going home to parents for the elementary would be beneficial to them. And also, how do you handle students that have food allergies?
Well, we're very fortunate here in Springfield. We have a registered dietitian on our staff. Her name is Erica Norwood, and Erica looks at all of the special nutritional menus that need to be produced, whether whether it's a halal meal or a vegetarian meal, whatever the requirements are, we have the capability to produce those meals for those students and ensure they get to them.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gresham.
Thank you. Thank you for your questions.
Any other questions or comments?
I do have a question.
Ms. Naylor, yes?
I want to piggyback a little bit off of the question about the allergies. How are families able to notify you that there is an allergy?
Well, the best way to do that is to contact the school nurse, and the school nurse has our contact information and can work with Erica on working through the menus that could be made available for that particular student. But it really starts with the school nurse contacting us, and then this way we work hand in hand together with the schools.
That's really important. I think that a lot of families do put it on their information. I know that I have, but I've never thought to ask. Like, my daughter's lactose intolerant, and I never thought to ask, like, does she have another option other than milk? Right? She just brings her stuff to school.
Definitely.
But I
Yes.
think about if, when I saw that, what made me think about it was in your breakfast or your room service, when you talked about that. I saw in the slide before that, you showed the backpacks, and there was like an almond milk thing. And I was just like, like, do we have
we do
those
that.
kind of options
We do
for
that too.
families?
Yes, we do have plenty of options. Again, we have to be in tune, and we have to be sensitive to the needs of students, and only through the feedback mechanisms that we have, and working with the schools, and again in this case with school nurses in particular, this really helps us to really identify and be able to be a provider of a solution, because we want to ensure that those students are fed and receive the appropriate meals in the appropriate quantities.
Thank you. And I appreciate what you said about the students having time. I am happy that I have not had any complaints about the food this year, but the complaint that I have had a few times was students feeling rushed and that they don't have time to get their food. And so I appreciate you bringing that up, because that is something I meant to bring to the superintendent's attention, and I completely forgot. But I'm so happy that the issue is not the food. And we all know last year was a very difficult year. So it was challenging for you all. And so I appreciate your patience, and I definitely appreciate your willingness to engraft the students. They really, really appreciate it. I was invited to a high school, and some of those students were involved in your advisory team, and they told me how pleased they were that you all were hearing them, that they felt heard. And so I wanted to let you know that I truly appreciate not just you listening to the children, but for us to bring it up to you, and you found an immediate solution as to how to go and make sure that they are heard. I do have one other question about, let me see, I wrote it down. I want to make sure. Oh, with the students with the backpacks. There was something that you said that I appreciated you mentioning, and I know there are folks that are listening who have the ears of legislators as well, but I really appreciated you bringing up that petition for us to make sure that we are speaking to our legislators, to make sure that it's on their radar, that there are certain limitations that you all have in this idea around students needing to congregate and be in this environment in order to receive food is really dated. And we have a lot of students that need help. And if we have the food, let's send it home with them, and let's make sure that they have the food, and let's be reimbursed for it because we're feeding them. And although I appreciate the backpack program, I think that we wouldn't necessarily need it if we had this other program that would allow us to just serve whosoever needs food. And so so that is something I wanted to say. And in line with the backpack program, my question was, do you know if all of the students that are requesting backpacks are receiving backpacks? Is there a wait list? Is there a shortage? Is there something we should know about that?
No, there's no wait list. There's no shortage. Now, on a weekly basis, we send basically the number of backpacks that we're asked to send to the school for that week. However, if the student is out, I mean, the backpack is still going to be there. We want to make sure that we work with the social workers and nurses in the schools to make sure that we get the most accurate count. But there is no waiting list. We're looking for more people because there is need out there. And we feel that as Sodexo, our mission is to ensure, and along with the school district, our mission is to ensure that, we feed the students. And especially, I do want to mention one thing. I was especially proud. We sent out almost 500 backpacks the Friday before Thanksgiving, and I challenged my team, and I called them together on Monday morning, and I said, we've got to do something, because Thanksgiving is a 5-day break. You have today, Monday, and you have today, Tuesday, all day Tuesday. I want you to serve as many backpacks as you can. And again, they came in at about 500 backpacks that were delivered over for the Thanksgiving holiday that went home with students on Wednesday. And I have to applaud our team for that effort, because it takes a lot to put 500 backpacks together. And they rose to the occasion in a day and a half and actually got food homes to homes over the Thanksgiving break. So it's a great program, and I applaud your comments. And again, I just can't wait to have the opportunity to come here. We have a lot of new equipment since this facility opened just about 3 years ago. And I would just love to show it off to you, and you can kind of see for yourself. So I'll stop talking now, and if there are any other questions, I'll answer those.
I'm finished, Mr.
Thank you, Ms.
Mayor.
Nelly. Any other questions or comments?
I have a quick
Mr. Gonzalez, please.
comment. I know that more information is going to be coming out for the March 6th. Patty, is that something you would send to us? Yeah, for the March 6th. And Roger, I just wanted to thank you and your team for all the hard work you guys do to feed all our children. And I really do think, Mr. Mayor, I know this isn't a voting matter, but I think we should all be in favor, and it behooves us as a body to do some quality taste checks on these new menu items.
Absolutely.
I think that's needed.
I knew you had an angle on that, Mr. Gonzalez. Yeah. I have to say that, thank you, Mr. Gonzalez, and to Ms. Naylor, important point on allergies. Having 2 daughters that have to carry an EpiPen, and I want to commend Sodexo. They've been a good corporate citizen dating back to the time of the freak nor'easter some 10, 12 years ago, where we had to open up our own shelter for our residents, Central High School. I think we serviced 400 families there at the time. And of course, during the tornado days, and especially during COVID-19, I believe, I could, off the top of my head, I think we had 18 to 19 satellite sites in the city. I think we served 8 million meals. That was breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, and the weekend backpacks to go home. And now that we're coming out of, knock on wood, coming out of the pandemic, as Ms. Naylor indicated, we're not getting complaints. We had to do what we had to do at the time when we were getting kids back into school, and many times colder type lunches on it. But we appreciate your continued efforts. And I think I might have to take up Mr. Gonzalez's challenge. We might have to taste test some of the foods out there too.
We can taste test them at the culinary center.
Yeah. Any other questions or comments?
If I could just say, Mayor,
Super
Roger,
Bowl.
I just want to thank you. You've been a great partner, and we really appreciate working with you. And like the mayor said, you've been a great corporate citizen as well, and just outstanding. But I've gone into the cafeterias now that we're back live, and what you said, Latonia, is true. The kids are much happier with the meals now that we're back to a natural environment with the serving and everything. So you just do a great job, and we appreciate you. Thank you.
Well, thanks so much.
Thank you. And again, a strong, very, very strong percentage of the employees are Springfield residents, and that I deeply appreciate. If there's no other questions or comments, we'll move along to committee reports. Before that, again, I want to thank Focus Springfield, Brendan and crew. Again, you've always been great to make sure we're able to televise these meetings and get participation and transparency. So thank you, Brendan and crew. We'll move to reports of standing committees, student relation, parent concerns. Ms. Gresham?
No report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Ms. Gresham. Building and Maintenance Committee, that's Vice Chair Collins. Again, he's at a family event. Legislative Contracts Committee, Mr. Gonzalez.
No report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. Curriculum Programs Committee, Ms. Hurst. I know she's come back. She indicated she had to get off on the meeting. Budget and Finance Committee, Vice Chair Collins, again, he's at a family event. Vocational Education Committee, Attorney Murphy.
No report, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. I hope you feel better, too. G is Technology Committee, Ms. Naylor, Monroe Naylor. Ms. Naylor, please.
No report, sir.
Thank you. H is School Safety Committee, Ms. Gresham.
No report, Mr.
Thank you. I is Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Committee, Mr. Gonzalez.
No report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. Student Representative, again, we're using a trifecta, 3 from Central High School. Ariane Diaz.
Here.
Okay, Ariane, you're on. Thanks for hanging in there. I don't know if you had any reports, any comments you'd like to make. There she is.
So we had the dance, and Mr. Tokar said it was the best dance that we had in his whole history of being a principal at Central. And even so, we
Dancing too? Ariane, was he out there dancing too? Tad?
Yep.
Okay, all right, good.
And we have Gillette coming up. We have a total of 4 buses, I think, not including the team members, like the football players' buses, going to Gillette.
Great.
And like fans and all, family members, and cheerleaders and dance team and band. And
we'll see you there. We'll see you there. I know Superintendent Warwick and I are definitely going to be there, and a few others too. So we'll see you there.
Yep. And I believe we have a couple of incentives of the until 4 weeks until vacation. About the I think we have, is it Spirit Week? I think it's Spirit Week where we're just down coming up as well. We're trying to get people to put in their input on what to dress down as, but I believe it's 3 days right before break, and we're still picking up days.
Thank you, Ariane. Thanks for hanging in there too. We really appreciate it. And go Central.
Yes. St. John's, go down.
Any questions or comments of Ms. Diaz? Okay.
Actually, I
Go
did
ahead.
have one for
Sure.
the Sodexo, but I think he left.
That's okay. Maybe he's still on. Go ahead.
March 6th is not a Tuesday next year, and I was hoping to attend with especially Carly, because I know her through Sodexo as well.
Okay. Well, Patty, to the superintendent, will Ariane and Patty, will they get notice of that then too? We'd love to have you. Love to have you.
And Carly invited me this like 2 days ago. I seen her at Central, and she comes very little, but we still see her. I tell her how good the food is.
Very good. Any questions of Ms. Diaz's report?
No, thank you.
Any questions, school committee members? Love your enthusiasm, dear. Love your enthusiasm. Okay, we'll see you Saturday too. Then we'll now move. Bye. Good night. We'll move to the report of the superintendent, please. Superintendent Warren.
I put something in your packet. It's from the U.S. Green Building Council.
Oh, yeah.
For Brightwood and Lincoln, we achieved LEED Gold. So it's the green rating that we work so hard at. So not only do we have a great building with all the state-of-the-art facilities, but it was built in a very responsible manner, which will be great for our environment in the future. The gold certificate, that copy of it is also in your packet, which was really cool. We're going to have a ceremony 10:30 Friday morning, tomorrow morning. If you can come, you're welcome down in the cafetorium down in Lincoln Brightwood School.
I have to say, this is a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
We have received other LEED awards, but I believe this is the first school gold award on it. So we want to make sure that we note that, and we hope to get more gold awards moving forward, whether it's school buildings or city buildings.
Yeah, no, it's really great for the environment in the long term. really the team together at Lincoln Brightwood did a great job on the design, but also the building. Daniel O'Connell and Sons were absolutely fabulous. There's an article in your packet about Central. They made it past the semifinal game. They didn't just make it past it, they won 54-14 over Methuen. So on to the finals, which is 12:30, as Ariane said, in Foxborough, which is exciting, against St. John's in Danvers, which is a highly rated team that gets to recruit from a major metropolitan area. That being said, I think Central would be the favorite here, and hopefully will go on to a four-peat, because this will be the fourth state title in a row if they win it. Looking at our attendance reports for the end of the month, and overall, our student attendance is 1.5% higher than last year at this time, which is encouraging. I know we're still getting hit with things, but we're moving in the right direction, and that's encouraging. And there's a contract report in your packet, and if you have any questions on it, any of the items, you can talk to Pat Roach or I. That concludes my report, Mayor.
Thank you, Superintendent Warwick. And also shout out to the city and school team, Pete Garvey and Myron Hatchett, John Kerrigan, Pat Sullivan, and again to Doc Daniel O'Connell, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Danny, God rest his soul, our old building commissioner, and Danisco, and everybody involved, our brothers and sisters in labor, building trades. It's a big deal on the gold status. Any questions, Superintendent Warwick's report? Okay, hearing none, unfinished business. Hearing none, new business. Hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn? Motion by Mr. Gonzalez, is there a second? Second. Second by Ms. Gresham. Roll call vote is required. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ms. Monroe-Naylor?
Yes.
Attorney Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Ms. Gresham?
Yes.
Ms. Hurst? Absent. Mr. Collins? Absent. Mayor Sarno?
Yes, board is official vote. This matter passes. Go Central, and thank you again to Peter Pan Bus Lines, Mr. Peter Picknelli. Our team will be going down there once again, first class. Good evening, and thank you for watching. Good health and God bless. Happy holidays. Okay.